Welcome back to the channel. This is the Awesome series, and my name is TheKloudWiz. So today we are going to talk about cloud service model. Now, previously we looked at the various ways cloud infrastructure is deployed. We looked at the public cloud, where an organization decides to host everything about their IT infrastructure and an application in the cloud. We looked at the private cloud, where the organization will still want to use a cloud provider's services, but would want the deployment or the physical infrastructure to be on their premises or their third-party hosting for them, but everything is dedicated to them. And we looked at the hybrid that combines both, but enables data sharing between them. Now, today, we are going to look at the level of abstraction or management offered by a cloud provider, and that is cloud service model. It's defined a level of control or abstraction and management that is offered by a cloud provider to their customer. It also represents the scale of control from the raw infrastructure to fully managed applications. Now, what are these service models? There is the infrastructure as a service, that is renting or going for the fundamental IT resources like servers, storage devices, and then the networks. You are typically going to manage the operating system and then the application that you host on these servers. There is the platform as a service. So for platform as a service, you don't manage the fundamental resources. So there is no server management. You don't manage storage. You don't manage the networking. All you need to do as an organization is just focus on developing, running, and then managing your applications. And the cloud provider will now manage and maintain the infrastructure for you. And there is the software as a service. So for software as a service, you as a customer don't have to do anything with developing or maintaining the application. You don't have anything to do with managing the infrastructure. This is a ready-made solution for you. So you just go ahead and then use it. So if you use Gmail or any other email service, then this is a software as a service solution. If you want a messaging application, maybe at enterprise level, you might want to use Slack, right? So that is readily made. You as an organization don't have to manage anything that powers a Slack application. You just install and it is ready for you to use. So I've added this pictorial view on the level of management for each one, but we are going to look at them into details. But before that, let's look at the full infrastructure. So with a full infrastructure, you have the networking component that provides connections between the servers, applications, and users. And so you look at switches, routers, firewalls, TCP, IP, and the likes, right? Then there is a storage component where applications, data, files, and then backups are kept. And examples are the hard drives, your solid state drives, the network attached storages, and then the storage area networks. There is a server itself, that is a physical or virtual machine that run workloads and the applications. So you have the rack servers, the blade servers, the virtual machines. Then there is the virtualization layer. This is the technology that will allow you to use one physical server to run multiple servers. So an example is VMware, Hyper-V, KVM. A lot of us also know of VirtualBox, which I mostly use. And on top of the virtualization layer, there is the operating system. So this is basically the software that manages the server hardware and provides a platform for applications to run. So example of these operating systems are Linux, the Windows, and the Ubuntu. And there is a middleware. So the middleware is basically the bridge software, right, or the intermediate software that helps applications communicate or share data. So for example, you have an e-commerce application. This e-commerce application processes orders and also processes payment. So the middleware here is the bridge software that will allow a payment provider or a payment platform to be able to communicate with the e-commerce website to successfully process payment. So you want to look at message brokers or application servers, right? Like the Tomcats, the JBoss, and then the likes. And there is the runtime. So this is the environment that allows code to run as an application, right? So it basically allows you to execute code of an application. So we have the Java runtime for Java applications, the Node.js for JavaScript, and then Python interpreter for Python applications. And then on top of the runtime, you have the data. This is basically the information you store, process, and use by the application. So databases like MySQL, PostgreSQL, application logs, and even user records. And then on top of this, we have the application itself. That is the end software that deliver value to users. So this is what your users use. So an ERP system, a CRM software, an e-commerce website, and even gaming applications. So with understanding of this infrastructure, then let's look at cloud service models in pictorial view. So at the very bottom, right, as far as the cloud providers are concerned, they manage the networking, the storage, the servers, up to the virtualization layer. Now, the level of control now comes in the type of service model that you are using. Now, on top of that, for infrastructure as a service, then you as a customer will now manage the operating system, the middleware, the runtime, the data, and the application that is running on the cloud infrastructure. Okay. So take this as renting an unfurnished apartment. You are going to get the building structure with its facilities like electricity, water, and internet connections. Now, you have to bring in your own furniture, decorate, and then maintain your living space. The cloud provider at the end, your landlord, will now handle the overall infrastructure. All right. Now, platform as a service, on the other hand, adds the operating system, the middleware, and the runtime to their responsibilities. Then you, as a customer, will now manage your data and then the applications that run on the platform. So you would want to take this also as now you rent a fully furnished apartment, you have everything readily set up. So you don't worry about buying furniture, you don't worry about fixing the plumbing, you only focus on what you do in the facility or in the building or the apartment on day-to-day basis. So the provider your landlord is going to manage everything, except your personal belongings. And there is software as a service. So with software as a service, you as a customer don't manage anything. The provider or the software vendor adds all these responsibilities, or they take care of all these responsibilities, from the physical component to the operating system to the runtime and the application that runs on them. So software as a service is more like staying in a hotel. You literally don't have anything to do with managing the infrastructure or anything of that sort. You use the room services, you use ready-made facility, and then anytime you feel like you don't need it, you just check out, right? Here's the big picture. iaas gives you the foundation. You have control over almost from the operating system level to your application. paas, or platform as a service, gives you the tools that you need to run your applications, but then the maintenance is offset to the vendor, and then you as a customer manage your data and then your application. saas, on the other hand, gives you a finished product, so you don't have to do anything with the infrastructure that powers it. The more control you have, the more work you do, and the more convenience you want, the less control you get. That is the beauty of cloud computing and the various types of service models that they offer you. You get to choose the balance that fits your need. Okay, so now we've understood cloud computing, understood how cloud infrastructure is deployed, and also explored the level of control and management that a cloud vendor give you based on the service model that you choose. Now, it's time to narrow it down. We are going to focus on the major market shareholder, and that is Amazon Web Services. In the next series of videos, we are going to look at Amazon Web Services, who they are, and the service categories and the service offerings that they offer their clients. If you found this video helpful, kindly like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The name is still TheKloudWiz, and I'll see you in the next one.